AITAH, for refusing to let my fiancé's adult son walk me down the aisle, and for calling him a placeholder for my dad. I'm a 31-year-old woman, and I'm getting married this fall to a wonderful man, 36M, who I've been with for the past 4 years. We're in that exciting, chaotic stage of wedding planning where every detail feels huge, some joyful, some unexpectedly emotional. What I didn't anticipate was how one tradition, who walks me down the aisle, would become such a painful point of contention. Let me rewind a bit. My father passed away when I was 22. He was the rock of my life, my closest family member and my greatest support system growing up. His death hit me hard. Even now, nearly a decade later, I still feel the void he left. I always imagined him walking me down the aisle one day, and when I lost him, that image shattered. Since getting engaged, I've been very clear in my mind that no one could replace him in that role. I either wanted to walk myself down the aisle as a tribute to my independence, or have my uncle, my dad's brother, who's been a second father to me, do the honors. My mom was completely supportive of that choice. Now my fiancé has a son, 18, from a previous relationship. I met him when he was 14. He's a good kid, polite, responsible, and generally respectful. We've always had a cordial relationship, but we never formed a particularly close bond. He calls me by my first name, and we've always interacted more like two adults who happen to live in the same house than anything resembling a parental relationship. I've never tried to act as his stepmom, and he's never looked at me that way either. And that was fine. That was our unspoken understanding. A few weeks ago, my fiancé brought up an idea that genuinely shocked me. Over dinner, he casually asked what I thought about his son walking me down the aisle. At first, I thought I misheard him. I laughed a little, assuming it was a joke, but he was completely serious. He explained that he thought it would be a symbolic way of officially blending the family, that it would show his son that I saw him as part of this new life we're building together. He said his son would feel honored to do it, that it would make him feel more included and special. I didn't know what to say at first. It had never crossed my mind, not even once, to have his son walk me down the aisle. I told him gently but firmly that I wasn't comfortable with the idea. I explained how much this moment means to me, how deeply connected it is to my father's memory, and how having anyone else in that role, especially someone I don't have a deep emotional connection with, would feel disingenuous. I said I respected his son, but this wasn't about symbolism or appearances for other people. This was about me and my grief, and honoring my father in a way that felt right. What I didn't realize was that my fiancé had already mentioned the idea to his son, and apparently the boy had gotten his hopes up. He was excited. He thought it was a sign that I saw him as family, and he felt genuinely touched. So when I said no, he was hurt. My fiancé came back to me a few days later and told me his son had taken it hard, that he felt rejected, like I didn't see him as part of my life, even after 4 years. He asked me to reconsider. He said sometimes, we have to make personal compromises in service of the bigger picture, of building a strong, united family. I felt cornered, like I was being asked to perform a family dynamic that doesn't exist just to make everyone else feel more comfortable. I told him again that I was sorry his son felt hurt, but it was unfair to expect me to rewrite such a deeply personal moment just to smooth over someone else's feelings. That's when we started arguing. And here, where I know I went too far. In the heat of the moment, I said, I'm not going to have someone who is basically just a placeholder for my dad walk me down the aisle. The words were out of my mouth before I could catch them, and the second I said it, I saw the look on my fiancé's face change. I knew I'd crossed a line. Of course, the fallout was immediate. His son stopped speaking to me. My fiancé's family got involved and said I was cruel and disrespectful, that I obviously didn't care about my stepson's feelings. My fiancé told me I had to apologize and that I should at least reconsider the decision. I did apologize for the wording. I truly felt awful about how harsh I sounded. That wasn't my intention. I wasn't trying to diminish his son as a person, but I was trying to protect a sacred memory. I wanted to keep that moment with my dad, even if only symbolically, and I snapped when it felt like I was being guilted into giving that up. My mom, who's been quietly watching all this unfold, told me she understands why I feel the way I do, but that I could have said it more gently. She thinks everyone's emotions are heightened right now, and maybe with time, things will settle down. I hope she's right. Now I'm stuck in this uncomfortable limbo. I feel like I'm being asked to pretend we're some perfect blended family when we're not, and that I'm the bad guy for not wanting to fake it. At the same time, I do feel terrible for hurting a kid who was just trying to connect with me. I never meant to make him feel unwanted.